All right, Jennifer, I'm so excited for our check-in call today. I can't wait to find out what's new in your world and everything. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really good. No
Good.
complaints.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said no complaints.
No complaints. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time again. I appreciate our opportunity to connect here. My first question for you, Jennifer, is, what was the initial connection to Dawnna? Because you have an interesting story, I think, and I don't remember all of the pieces. I know a little bit of it, but this wasn't something, you just decided in terms of, taking on, having Dawnna be your coach and joining the Fyrebrand program and everything. So can you maybe just remind me and back up a little bit and kind of explain like how this all came to be for you? Because I think this is awesome.
Okay. So I've basically been ruminating and salivating and letting this come to a boil for about 4 years now, to be honest. I think it's
wow.
3-4 years.
Okay.
And I've had the pleasure of working with several of the Fyrebrand family members way back 3-4 years ago. And each of them one of them in particular, she knows who she is when she listens to this, says, you need to join and start working with Dawnna. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine. Oh yeah, fine. But life wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And then I would then see the incredible success that several of those same members were having. And I'm like, but I wasn't ready. I really wasn't ready. A lot of things going on in my personal life. And I've been very guilty of spending tons of money on programs, which I think would fix everything. But if you don't take the time, invest the time, energy, commitment to it, it's a waste of money. So I knew that as life-changing as this whole experience could be, I needed to be in a space where I had enough time, energy to really dedicate to it. So finally, I kind of moved quite a bit of toxicity out of my life and changed stuff and moved stuff and cleaned out the closet and the garage and everything and made space literally for this. So it was one of those things I was kind of scared to do, because sometimes when you change things, you're not quite sure what the end result will be. So you're like, oh, let me just hang on to what I typically do. But what I was doing wasn't working the way I wanted it to. I mean, I'm making a living, but that's not what I want to do. I want to really be abundant. So I'm going to be abundant, hang with the abundant people and learn from them. And that's it. So fast forward to last year, 2021, and Dawnna presented at our NSA chapter meeting. And I just said, okay, stop it, Jeff. Just stop. Just do it. So there you go. That was it. And here I am.
So last year when Dawnna presented at the NSA, that's kind of when you knew that the timing was right. Because I heard you say like you knew the timing wasn't right for you before.
Yes.
And I want to commend you for that, Jennifer, because Dawnna, she's a straight shooter, right? I mean, she's no BS. We're going to get after it. And so you have to be in the right headspace.
Better be ready for that. What? But I love that, because that's actually my style too. So I love the get bottom line, no BS. Give me something that works fast, works immediately. I can implement immediately. And then the other stuff I need to marinate on, that could happen too. So I like her style and I resonated very much with it. And when I actually saw her in person, met her, I kind of told her, I was like, yeah, I've been dodging you for a couple of years, but here I am.
But eventually you just had to give in, right?
Ta-ta, here I am.
Yeah, well, and I think it's so cool too that you saw some other people that were working with Dawnna, and then you were seeing the results that they got. And obviously you were paying close attention because you knew those people, right?
Yes.
And so
that's exactly it.
Yeah. So I think it's great that it worked out. And now you get to be a part of the Fyrebrand family and everybody's thriving together. And so that's a really cool thing too, how it's kind of come all back around and everything, and everybody just helps each other grow and get better together. So I love that.
And that I would say was a definite benefit that really set me over the edge to actually doing this, because me playing by myself, I'm very good at playing in the sandbox by myself. I'm an only child. I like my company. I like being in charge. I'm a reformed control freak. So I'm used to kind of getting things done, but I know that at times I definitely need accountability.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm the worst accountability partner for me.
Yeah.
I work well when I want to work well. And then when I don't want to work, oh, shiny, let's do that instead of, because that's boring. But this, yeah. And I've just started so many projects that I didn't finish. And I was sick and tired of that, basically. So I said, let me play in the sandbox with others. And the person that owns the sandbox is somebody that's achieved the type of success that I would love to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
So let me learn from those people that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the t-shirt factory.
I love that. You know, when you're talking about accountability, I want to just share this with you, and then you can, you know, affirm or deny it if it's your experience. But one thing that I've noticed, because one thing I didn't realize was the power of the community and all the brilliant people that, you know, that also work with Dawnna and are part of the family and everything. But one thing that I've learned is that to me, it almost feels a little bit more like the expectations just get raised.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much about people making you do something. It's just that you're inspired to want to do it because you see all these other brilliant people around you just tearing it up and, you know, evolving their business and their methodology and everything else. And it's like, yeah, I want to be a part of that too. And I don't know if you'd agree with that or not, if it's more maybe about like raising that bar and the expectations and just seeing what everybody else is doing around you. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it is raising the bar. I think for me, I knew I wanted the bar raised. I just didn't know how.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I'm very good at doing it for my clients, but for me, no. So to have an environment and a safe space and a kick up the behind, in addition to a soft landing spot, those things really, really appeal to me. And then again, I'm not the only one doing it. Everyone that has achieved any monicum of success through the Fyrebrand experience, we've all done the same thing. Nobody has skipped anything, I don't think. We all have our different areas of expertise, that's for sure.
Right.
But
right.
the program works. I'm sorry, it just does. And you're kind of stupid if you don't do it. I'm a bottom line, I told you. So,
you don't have to be sorry.
Seeing person after person go through this mill of successful. I'm like, what? My turn.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful, one of the things that I appreciate the most is that there's a system and there's a methodology to it. It's not by accident. And, you know, Dawnna talks about this. There's a lot of wonderful coaches out there who want the best for their clients and everything, but unfortunately they don't have like a proven methodology that works where they can help produce those transformative results on a consistent basis and everything. So I really appreciate what you said there in terms of how Dawnna goes about it in creating that transformation on such a consistent level for people with different areas of expertise.
Yeah, it's I like to call it plug and play. You do what you plug it in, put your stuff in, you work it, and then you go play. And then unless you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you can't help but be successful. And then also too, to have the ability to be able to celebrate with others experiencing whatever their level of success is, because we're not in competition with each other.
Right.
It's just that we want to go from point A to point B to point whatever your point is. And it's great to have a field and environment that you could do that with many people.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
I like that.
No, very well said. I love that sense of community connection and helping each other evolve and grow too. That's great. So Jennifer, what was your number one area of frustration or struggle that you wanted to address when you started working with Dawnna?
I think clarity of explaining what I do.
Oh, okay.
My title was one thing, which basically I called myself for many years a speaking / storytelling coach.
Okay.
However, over the years, it's been very, very apparent, and my clients have told me the same thing. You're not just a speaking coach. And to be able to boil that all down, synthesize it, and to have the words to say very succinctly, you know, the benefits of, not knowing the benefits, what I do, it's very satisfying. Because people are like, I get it. And speaking coach, I guess, one of the main thing I do, but I'm one of those people that works on the whole person more so than just what comes out of your mouth. So and that's a long story as to how that all came about, because it when I first started in this venture, that definitely wasn't where I was going. I just let me just teach people how to storytell. That's all I wanted to do. And it became much, much more than that, because I realized what people put out there, you've got to be very careful when you have a platform, whether it's on stage, online, or whatever. People grab onto every word that you say. And I found that being in the speaking world for over 22 years, a lot of people, very good speakers, they're great, impactful, but a lot of what they did, I'm just going to be honest, because I used to be one of them, was throwaway. Let me say these things because I know they're going to get motivated. Let me say these things because I know they're going to get inspired. Let me say these things because I know they're going to be sad. And it was designed to, produce a certain effect. And that was great. But what was happening was, I felt, and was told by a coach I had back then, was that it wasn't authentic and real. It was good, very entertaining, but would the person change their behavior after they left the room or after they switched off the computer? And that was my goal. So after getting the feedback from that coach back then, and she basically said, I was part of a workshop and gave a 5-minute presentation on the story. I gave the story. I thought I was fabulous. And then she said, I don't believe you. I'm like, you what? And she goes, I don't believe you. And I felt like slapping the woman. I really did, because how dare she, in front of all these people, tell that she didn't believe it, but she was just being honest, and she was right. The words were great. The movements, the mannerisms, I was choreographed down to a T. But as far as like coming from the heart and being really authentic, no. So I stewed on that for a little while, and I've been touring literally internationally, speaking, doing all kinds of stuff. But that really stuck in my craw. And I said, what does she mean? And she basically said, you'd figure it out. And it came to the fact where true connection with the people that you are communicating with. I had some of that, but not all of that. Then I came to the mindset, you know what? I need to change that. I really do need to connect with people. What they do behavior-wise is up to them. I just need to make sure that my message that I get across is authentic, real, comes from a real place. And when they listen to me, they'll feel like I've called into their head. Their heart. And they say, oh, Mom, me too. Oh, how do you know that? And just built my skills. And then it came to be more about me feeling comfortable with me and vulnerable. And then learning how to share that. And then that's how that all kind of came about. So what I do for my clients is pretty much the same thing now. It's not just a speech or a story or whatever. It's let's get you comfortable in your own skin first. And then that opens up a whole world of possibilities. Then we work on the speech.
And what's really cool about this, Jennifer, is as I'm listening to you explain this, it almost sounds like Dawnna is helping you find your own personal alignment with all of your gifts that you bring for your clients. And then in doing that, it's also helping you be able to help your clients even more and have even more impact on your clients in terms of helping them find their own personal alignment so they can really authentically connect with their message, with their audience.
Very well said. I will totally attest to that. I have a brand new client that started with me 3 weeks ago now. And it's about the same time roundabout me working with Dawnna. So I stole some stuff that I learned from Dawnna, and I kind of filtered it to her. And she was one of those that is brilliant at what she does, didn't feel comfortable in her own skin. And she basically had a photo shoot on Monday to do some marketing piece. And she texted me right after. And her whole thing was, oh my gosh, I feel so free. I feel happy. And, just setting her in the mindset of this is it. And I look fabulous and I look wonderful. And she just, really, that's what gives me joy, is to see my clients opening up that way and feeling that joy. And it's not about me doing the work. She did the work. It was me having the tools to say, there, try that. No, do that. Don't do that. And I took some of Dawnna's stuff.
Well,
And it worked.
yeah, and you know what's really cool is Dawnna was just on Clubhouse today and she was talking about this. You and her, such similar philosophies. She said, it's not about what I have accomplished. Dawnna was talking about what really gets her juices flowing is she wants to have an impact for her clients. She wants
Right.
her clients to be successful. And you were just saying the same thing. When your client sent you that text and they were sharing about their joy and being able to stand in their own power and just that feeling of satisfaction, knowing they found that alignment and they're standing in their own power and everything, that's what makes it for you in terms of, you know, what you bring to the world and your gift. And I just think that is so cool, that heart to serve and to help uplift and inspire others. So thank you for doing that, because I just think I'm an educator by trade. I'm obviously a coach, and that's what gets me juiced up as well. That's what fills my
That's what we
bucket.
do.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Great. So Jennifer, what so far, and how long have you been working with Dawnna, like with the private coaching right now? Has it been like about a month?
It's about a month. Yep.
About a month. Okay. So in that past month, what are some of the biggest wins that you've had so far?
Well, I think within a week or so after working with her, she gave me some very valuable tools as far as how to work with potential clients, because again, a lot of that was clarification as far as my ideal target, and that's still working on the clarification, but we have a good general idea of who my ideal clients are. And I had an opportunity to have a meeting with a bunch of them. And I know 110% that if I hadn't had the information and coaching and recommendations from Dawnna on how to handle that situation, it would have gone very differently. I think I still would have been good, but I'm not sure it would have been a slam dunk versus it was a slam dunk. I assume, I'm going to say, and only because there were situations that happened totally beyond my control that had a little bit of an effect on it, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't about me. So I just felt so relieved walking into that room, knowing I was armed and ready.
Yeah.
But this was a tough audience, very tough audience. I walked in, and this was their body language.
Oh, wow. And I know you've been in front of a lot of audiences before. So if you're telling me it's tough, then it's tough.
Yeah, well, only because it was a small room.
So
there was no escaping. You know, if I'm on a stage somewhere, okay, I can walk somewhere else, look somewhere else. But no, this is what it was like this the entire time on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, all right.
But you went in there and you crushed it, right?
Let's go. And I had the methodology that Dawnna taught me, and I basically put it into play, and they loved it. Absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
Hopefully it's a wonderful opportunity to really expand my business, and I'm just waiting for the final word as to what's going to happen next.
Yeah, no, that is so cool, because the thing that I just admire about you so much is that you have been extremely successful your whole career. You're brilliant at what you do, but you are looking to take it to the next level. And so I'm so excited for you that this was one of those opportunities that's going to allow you to leverage your expertise in even bigger ways, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect case of when the student is ready, the teachers show up. Because this opportunity actually would have happened before COVID hit 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Scheduled that month, literally March of 2020 was when I should have met with this group. And then COVID hit, and of course, everything got canceled and moved and canceled and moved. And then finally, you know, I was given the date of a couple of weeks ago. And again, it was when I got the confirmation was just before I started with Dawnna. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, that was my mindset. Not necessarily scared, but I was like, okay, I think I'm like 3/4 ready, and was approaching, okay, what do I do for the other quarter? And then, you know, working with Dawnna, oh, shoot, yeah, this is good.
Yep. So, and it sounds to me like a little bit too, like having that proven methodology and having something that you could count on sort of helped increase your confidence in knowing that you knew what you were going to bring to the table in terms of what you were going to deliver for that opportunity?
Definitely, because the methodology is it's so brilliant. I'm just going to say that's okay. It's designed for the naysayers. Let me say that. So remember I told you the attitude of the audience I had. And again, it was nothing personal against me. That's just their rep. That's what they do. And they tried. Oh, yeah. They tried to throw some questions. They tried to do whatever. And I stuck with the methodology. And they're like, all right, well, let's try this one. Bam, ask that question. Okay. All right, then. And I could see they physically relaxed, mentally relaxed, and then really got into the whole thing. Because, they spent probably the first 30 minutes trying to test me. But after that, and, here, this is not about ego or anything like that.
No, right.
That wasn't it. It was just that I had the tools that just made me so ready. The only reason I would have not been successful would have been me keeping my mouth shut and not actually doing the methodology.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just think that's wonderful that it all came together, and there's nothing better than when preparation meets opportunity, right? And you go in there with that full blown 100% confidence, like, I know I'm going to crush it. I know I'm going to knock it out of the park and everything. So very good. I am wondering, now you have been a coach for maybe your whole adult life. You've been a coach a long time, right?
Well, officially since 2004 when it comes to my business.
Okay.
But I tend to be one of those people that people come to me for advice.
Right.
Don't know why, because all I do is basically give my opinion, and I'm not a licensed therapist or anything like that. But
sure,
for some reason, people believe me. So I work with it. But yeah, I've been a coach in my business per se since 2004.
Right. So you've seen a lot of coaches, a lot about coaching. And so here's where I'm going with this is I'm wondering, in your opinion, what makes Dawnna's coaching different than a lot of the other coaching that you have seen in your career?
It's practical, easily applicable. That sounds good. Now. Easily applicable. Because I was able, within a day or so of learning it, to apply it immediately. Now, that could have been, again, because I think also, too, it does help that I have been a coach.
Right.
And I'm in the speaking world, per se. So I think, if it was a raw beginner that had no idea about the methodology, it would have been a much steeper learning curve. So I would say that I think that's basically it. It's just, I think it's easily applicable. It's not easy. It's not simple, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it's easy to follow. You can put it in here. You match it to whatever your expertise is, and then you work the circle. That's basically it. And I think some other coaching programs I've been a part of, what I like, okay, so let me back up. I think this coaching program is more holistic. Again, it could be just the program I'm in, because I know that there are different areas that she specializes in. I get a little bit of sales, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She's a dynamic speaker herself. So even though that's what I do with speakers, I learn from her too. So there's a lot of different moving parts and pieces that I can put into a nice little package and say, okay, here's what I need right now. And then as we go further, because she's been around and has developed the methodology so completely, different parts of my business needs different things. And she's got it already. So again, in the month that I've worked with her, the tremendous success I've already had, I can't wait for more. What else?
Yeah. And you're a part of the Mansion Retreat program.
Yes, I am.
So you're going to take what you're already doing and you're going to leverage that expertise in a new way. And I'm just curious, what are you most excited about in terms of what's going to happen here as you go a little further down the road?
We get to play. I can't wait for the mansion, because I love, okay, let me back up. I have several clients for many years that have been telling me that I need to put a retreat together. Or a trip, one of the two.
Right.
So either a standalone retreat, or we just need to go to another country and go play for a little while.
Right.
So this is not a new concept. It really isn't. I've been thinking about it for a while. I have several colleagues that have done their own retreats and stuff. I knew that I wanted mine to be a little bit different. So I love the aspect of luxury. because we don't treat ourselves sometimes as well as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my experience with some of my coaches coming up in the speaking world, I got to stay at 5-6-star hotels. And my background definitely isn't financially from there. So to be in an environment where you are in luxury, you are in a place that just makes you go, this is nice. I can see myself living here. It just opens your mind.
Right.
Opens up your creativity for
Yes.
something totally different. Because I know categorically, if I hadn't had that experience, it would have been a further stretch for me to think of putting on my own retreat the way she does.
Right.
So I just want my own retreat, and people will get to play and also expand and enjoy and have a good time while they're learning. And part of it's going to be getting away from the madness out there.
Yeah.
And being in the Miss Jen Jen bubble.
The Miss Jen Jen bubble. I love it.
The Jen bubble. That's it. We're going to have fun. And I have some things already planned.
Yeah. It's a bubble of brilliance.
There's going to be music. There's going to be dancing. And there's going to be a whole lot of learning. And, that's it. We're going to have some a good time.
Yeah. No, I am so excited for you. And I guess I'm curious, like, if there's anybody listening to this, because some people may watch this, and if they're on the fence a little bit, or some people might think, well, I am a coach, but I don't need a coach. I'm already successful, and what would you say to those people who might watch this? They might think, maybe I don't need a coach. I kind of know what I'm doing. And maybe they're thinking about joining the Fyrebrand program or working with Dawnna. I'm just curious, based on your experience, what would you tell them?
So if they're thoroughly comfortable where they are and they don't want change, then sure, then maybe this isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the coaches I do know, though, want more. They really want more. And I learned very early on. Remember, I told you how I had coaches that would put me in the luxury places and have their retreats at luxury hotels. They have coaches. And we're talking, they're multi-millionaires,
right,
doing this business for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, some of them. Been around, been there, done that. And they have coaches. In fact, they have multiple coaches, which is very surprising because you think once they get to that level in their business, you need a coach for, everything.
Right.
No, you don't. And you'll find out real quickly when you learn from somebody that comes from a different perspective, and especially somebody that's in the position or place where you want to be, then what could it hurt? And the world is changing. People are changing. And I'm going to say this categorically, which was one of the things that really, really pushed me over the edge, is that the world is hurting. It doesn't matter what your expertise is, whoever you're around, you interact with, your clients, your parents, whoever it is, people are hurting, they're raw, and they want authenticity. And they want somebody to help guide them. I wouldn't necessarily, if it's step by step, it could be that. But I mean, sure, they need people they can trust and put their faith in. And for me, I don't want to be disingenuous and say, okay, I'm a coach and I'm this, that, the other, and I'm going to make you sound and be fabulous and you can be as successful as you want to be. And I'm not doing the same for myself.
Right.
No. And like I said, most of the successful coaches that I have learned from all have coaches. Mm-hmm. So coach to coach. And you've also, what they say, if you're going to be a good leader, which I think coaches are to some extent, you've got to be a good follower. You've got to be a good student. And if you get to the point where you think you've learned everything you need to learn and you're done, then okay. But how long, if you want to stay at that plateau, that's your choice.
Right.
Not here to judge. But at the same token, if you're listening to this or you see anything around Dawnna's program and something in your stomach goes, that's all it means. then that's your intuition saying, hello, take a look.
Yep.
And if it's like, oh man, or you feel that little pang of jealousy when you hear and see what people are doing, then
right,
intuition telling you need to do something different.
Yeah, and time is going by, and
same old. Don't work anymore. It's not going to work anymore.
Right. Well, Jennifer, I am so thrilled that this worked out for you to be able to join Fyrebrand. I'm so happy that the timing was right. For me, it's one of the most rewarding things in my role as a coach with Fyrebrand is to be able to help people connect with this opportunity when they have the mindset and they're ready to do the work and everything's lined up. They're in a place where they're ready to make that investment. And I knew when we talked that not only were you extremely brilliant, but the timing could not be better for you, for Dawnna, for Fyrebrand, for this opportunity. So thank you so much for being a part of our Fyrebrand family. I am so excited to see what's going to continue to evolve for you. And like you said, most importantly, for all of your clients in terms of the impact that you're going to be able to deliver and just for what you're going to be able to do for your business in itself and everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me in the door. That's the key. No, I'm saying that it's not easy because you said it. If you're not ready for this, and I know how selective you guys are. So, I'm just going to put a plug in. Whoever's listening or watching, there's something that's pointing you in this direction. But Dawn is very selective about who she chooses. So if there's some, interest about you listening to this, then that's the universe pointing you in a certain direction. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And one of the reasons she's so selective is because we are so fortunate to be able to work with brilliant people like you.
Thank you, darling.
You're very welcome, Jennifer. Thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait for our next check-in call. Okay.
Okie dokie.
All right. Have a great night.
All right. You too.
Yep. Bye now.
Bye.